వర్షం పడిపోతుంది. వర్షం
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Good evening.
मैं इनको लेता हूँ.
I'm the host now. Okay, is it on?
Hosting ఇచ్చాను. Hello. చంద్రశేఖర్ గారు. Hello. Hello.
Okay, no problem. Fine.
చంద్రశేఖర్ గారు.
చెప్పండి. జానీ గారు చెప్పండి, వినిపిస్తుందా? ఓకే 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 హోస్టింగ్ ఇచ్చారు, అడ్మిట్ చేశాను, అందరినీ చేస్తున్నాను.
ఎవడైపోయినరా?
Okay, so where are we? Here we are. Okay, admit all. Okay. So I would like to share the screen. Okay, the screen is all visible, right? So here we are going. Today we are going to discuss about construction safety. And see, before going into the construction safety, I would like to show you the syllabus. The syllabus map. Is the syllabus paper visible? See, you can see the syllabus paper, right? Everyone? This is the syllabus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, yes. So here we have measuring scope and safety in construction, basic philosophy, particulars and parameters governing the safety in construction site, and safe access, housekeeping. And these are the measuring and scope of this is the introduction part actually. Okay. See, from here the core concepts get started. Okay, safety in construction operations. Underground work. What do you mean by underground work? Excavation, drilling, blasting, okay, trenching, shoring, structuring, everything comes under underground work. Normally here, for your information, I would like to say you I would like to add few points. Here there is underground work, above ground work. Okay. Actually, there are two other more construction safety related works, which is above water and underwater. Okay. Fine. This is underground and above ground, and we also have other say construction safety above water and underwater. Where if you read this regional labor institute or central labor institute books, they in that I remember reading many years back. In that they'll mention underwater and above water works also. Okay, this all those also comes under construction, above water construction, underwater. Fine. Coming to the above ground construction, scaffolding, centering, framing ladders, we'll discuss what are the above ground constructions. For everything, we'll have hazards, consequences, and control measures. Your main principle is to understand in such a way that what is the hazards in excavation, what are the control measures. Okay, so in that way you have to relate. Okay, today we'll go to discuss all this. So now you can able to see the excavation and trenching, right? The slide. Can you see? Can you see
No,
the
sir.
definition? No,
Yeah, yeah.
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Just wait, just now we can see, right?
No, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir. Now it's
Yes. Now it's okay, right? So here excavation and trenching. Okay, fine. We like I would like to go in a very systematic way. We don't no need to rush and all, because this is the 108 paper. Today class what I'm telling like covers most of the topics. Balkrishna Harika, who is Harika? Harish Babu, you need to call. And fine, that's fine. Please, thank you. Please make sure move to call. See, coming to the definitions, excavation means any man-made cut, cavity, trench, or depression in an earth surface formed by earth removal. Okay. See, man-made cut. Cavity means a small gap. Trench. It can be 2 feet, 3 feet, or any depression on an earth surface formed by earth removal. Normally, they say that if an excavation they say that if more than 3 feet, or sorry, if more than 3 feet or 1 meter depth is been dug, only that comes under excavation. But the word itself says any depression in an earth surface. Like if we do a small digging with our hand, it also comes under excavation. Okay, so coming to the industrial safety, so industrial practice means the excavation means, okay, it can happen like with like excavators, right? It can happen with bulldozers or foundation digging equipment, okay, or prockliners. So different in these kind of the missions which does the excavation. So basic definition is excavation means any man-made cut, cavity, trench, or depression in an earth surface formed by earth removal. Okay, fine. Deepak Behra, mutual call. Fine. Definition: confined space is a space that is designed by design and or configuration has limited opening for entry and exit, unfavorable natural ventilation, may contain or produce hazardous substances. It is not intended for continuous employee occupancy. Okay, so the basic concept of confined space. Why confined space has come here? Because it is a part of construction safety. In construction safety, lot of confined space works will be going on. Fine. So what do you mean by confined space? Confined space is a space that is by design which has limited opening for entry and exit. And limited opening means it will be very small. It cannot be large. Okay.
There is only one exit and one entry, sir.
One opening. Yeah, one exit and one entry. Fine. So
And
we cannot
also
just
it's also
conclude.
different.
We cannot just conclude in that way. But it depends if a boiler or if a tanker. If see, for example, this our trailer, our petroleum tanks. What it, what does it have? Or petroleum boilers, or in oil and gas, you'll have different kinds of tanks. Sometimes the same in same entry you will have same exit. Okay, that is also confined space. Sometimes there will be some peripherals, the pipes which are connected to the other parts of the tanks or any boiler units. Sometimes that peripheral also will be open in, it will be in open condition. That also comes under confined space. So and also
even the water pipelines, sewage pipelines
Yes.
also confined, na, sir?
Yes, sir. They are also confined. They are also comes under confined space. Okay. So fine. Unfavorable natural ventilation. So natural ventilation is not internet connection is unstable. Fine. Unfavorable natural ventilation. There is no natural ventilation. Many contain may contain or produce hazardous substances. What do you mean by hazardous substances? It may have H2S manholes. The manholes which will be in sewage, our roadside manholes. It has H2S. All methane. Methane also are present in manhole. Okay. So these kind of hazard lack of oxygen deficiency. This also comes under hazardous substances. It is not intended to continue any employee occupancy. Okay. So it is occupancy means no one should go and have occupy that area. Like we should not go stand or have chill or have a conversation. Should not happen in confined spaces. Okay. So if anyone asks you in an interview, the people who are new to the topic, what you'll say, the confined space is a space that is limited opening, entry and exit untadi, natural ventilation undadu, gases untai, unde chances untai. Okay. Okay. So coming to objectives.
Sir, in this confined space, there is a lot of requirements. Is there mandatory requirements?
Actually, there comes under
Okay.
precautionary
How
measures.
you know H2S inside the tanks and vessels? First,
Actually, before
we have
going into
to
confined,
measure.
yes, sir. Before, please, sir. Tell me, sir. Hello. Tell me, sir. Tell me.
You
Can you hear
know,
me?
inside the confined space,
Sir,
there is some toxic gases in there.
Sir, tell me, sir. Sir, I'm not. We are not able to hear your voice. Your voice is getting broken.
Sir, okay, sir.
Sir, actually, I would
Sir,
like
that
to.
server is very low. That's why.
No problem. Actually, what you have asked is before going into the confined space, based on the precautionary measures, the first thing to do is have a multi-gas detector and test the gases.
Yes.
Okay, that is the first primary thing to do, and we will talk about this when we talk about the precautionary measures. What are the hazards in confined space, sir?
Every confined space,
Sir.
every personal, like a
Sir,
crew, must be trained properly about confined space.
fine.
Start the
Sir, we are not able to hear your voice. Sir, we are not able to hear your voice. I'll continue the class. We'll discuss. Fine. Okay. How to see objectives? What are the objectives? Highlight the hazards of working in an excavation. What is our main objectives? My dear respected people. So here we have highlight the hazards of working in a excavation. We should have a. Can everyone hear my voice clearly? Is my
Yes, sir.
voice or yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are hearing.
Fine. What is the first thing? The hazards. Highlight the hazards means finding out the hazards. What is our prime motto, prime objective of safety officer? To prevent accidents, and daily what we'll do on site: identify the hazards, identify who might be harmed and how. Okay, and then analyze the risk and giving corrective actions, and then reviewing. This is the five and basic things a safety officer will do. Here, coming to the highlighting hazards, what we are highlighting the prime hazards. How to prevent employee from cave-ins. cave-ins means, see, if a trench is there, excavation is there. If one side or one of the side walls collapse due to some impact or some surface edges on its edges, if a sand collapses, okay, on some person, that phenomenon is called cave-ins. Okay, this is the main very hazardous phenomena in excavation and construction industries. Okay, cave-in ante em ledandi, ఒక ట్రెంచ్ కానీ ఒకవేళ తీసినప్పుడు పక్క నుంచి ఏమైనా వెహికల్స్ వచ్చి ఆగి ఆ ప్రెషర్ వల్ల పక్కన ఒక ఎడ్జెస్ అండ్ సైడ్స్ వాల్ కొలాప్స్ అయిపోయి అనుకోండి, లోపల మనిషి ఉంటాడు. సో ఆ కొలాప్స్ అవడం ఎలా అవుతుంది, ఒకేసారి కేవ్ లా పడిపోతుంది, అంటే కేవిన్స్ అంటారు అతను. ఓకే, ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ దట్ పోజ్ ఏ హజార్డ్స్ టు ఎంప్లాయీస్ వర్కింగ్ ఇన్ ఎక్స్కవేషన్, ద రోల్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటెంట్ పర్సన్ అట్ అన్ ఎక్స్కవేషన్ సైట్. అవి పిక్టోరియల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, నేను చూపిస్తాను. జనరల్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్. సో what are the general requirements, what are the precautionary measures to be taken before doing excavation work or anything, if we are talking about not only excavation, benching, shoring or digging, drilling, okay, jumpering, anything which we are doing the underground work, these are the general requirements which we have to follow. What are the general requirements? So we have to see, the first thing, the employee must determine the essential locations of utility installations. What do you mean by utilities? Like sewers, electrical cables, water lines, all comes under utility. Gas pipelines also. Telephone. We have scenarios like in some farms, the gas pipelines got erupted due to excavation because improper clearances. Okay, because if the excavation work is going on, first thing as a safety officer, what you'll do, you'll ask whether there is anything going underneath. For example, see, basic example, if you want to drill a hole on a wall in an industries or in a factories, what you'll ask first, whether there is any power lines running inside the wall. That is a basic thing one should ask.
We will done, sir, electrical survey, underground survey.
Yes, underground survey should be done. The yard layout should be asked from the government. I think someone is drawing lines. I don't want that to happen, please. Someone is drawing lines. I don't know why the lines are coming on my laptop. Fine. The competent person will inspect on a daily basis excavations. The inspection means what kind of inspection he has to do? Why on daily basis?
Why? Because he will check the shoring supports, benching supports.
Mohan Reddy, mute your call. Moni, mute your calls. Please tell me. Yes, benching
They have
supports.
to check, sir.
Yes, we have to check on daily basis, because if today night there will be some excavation happens, and tomorrow morning every situation will change. So on daily basis, on every shift, what is the possible what is the possible points he should see? The cave-ins.
Collapse, sir.
Is there any
Excavation may
collapse? Yes. Is there any possibility of cave-in?
Second, underground water may come around.
Yes, I'll come to that. Yes, that's also a point. If the underground water comes out when you do not see the when you did not determine the utilities before digging. Okay, here the second point.
Before starting the excavation, sir,
tell me, sir.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Actually, you're not able, you're in the area. We are not able to hear you, sir. You're in bad network. I don't know.
Network is here. Okay, sir.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. So adjacent areas, cave-ins, failure of protective systems or equipment, hazardous atmosphere, or other hazardous conditions. I'll be discussing about, like, you have to see what is the general requirement. So if a personnel should say whether if there is a possibility of cave-in, means is there any equipment or is there any load on the edges of the excavated area? Okay, listen carefully. And failure to protective systems and equipments. So what do you mean by failure to protective systems and equipment? There is no if there is no wedges, or they are placed in unsafe locations, they are placed in slope, they are not with outriggers, those all comes under failure in protection systems. Hazardous atmosphere. if you leave the atmosphere, like if he's going inside and if you left the gas cylinder there, the atmosphere may change. Every time, or for every shift, the atmosphere check should be done by multi-gas detector. Fine. Take prompt corrective measures to eliminate hazards. So the corrective measures what we have to take, we will be seeing in further PPT. Adequate protective systems will be utilized to protect employees. This can be accomplished by through sloping, shoring, and shielding. Okay, I'll be discussing this for your understanding. Sloping and sloping means if you are if you created a trench and if you made a cut on it in a form of slope, ante oka see నేను కనిపిస్తున్నాను కదా, సో ఈ విధంగా మీరు కట్ చేశారు అనుకోండి, దిస్ ఇస్ స్లోపింగ్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఇస్ sloping. Shoring means if this is a trench, okay, keeping some adjacent blocks, woods, and if you keep some means of rods in between the woods, it can be like pneumatic, or it can be I'll be showing the pictorial way, that is shoring. Shielding means keeping a box. Okay, I'll be showing that. See, this comes under PPE should be worn. Employee should not travel more than 25 feet to reach the stairways. Okay, this is the basic things. 4 feet and more trenches, toxic and hazard atmosphere will be tested daily. Okay, mechanical excavators and power tools should not be used within 0.5 half meter. Okay, should not be used within half meter, because half meter means if you are digging a half meter excavation, you need to use this mechanical excavator. You can use it by hand. You can dig by hand. Okay. Fine. See, this is what a basic definitions. I would like to everyone to understand this. Okay.
Sir, even for excavation, we should do this one, sir, gases testing.
Sir, if excavation is done more than 25 feet, or if it is in closed warehouse or environment, we have to do, sir. If it is in open area, there is no need to do. If the excavation in such a way that it is taking a turn after going to deep, you cannot able to see the person. For example, see, sir, if in excavating, after some excavation, you will keep some big pipe, and the person should go inside the pipe and do a weld for the
Hello, sir,
bottom.
sorry for interruption.
Okay, sir.
So then
Hello,
you
sir,
have
sorry
to
for
do.
interruption.
Please,
Hello,
please,
can you listen me?
please, sir. Please, yes, sir.
Sir, the thing like if you're working in a Edco brownfield or somewhere in the sense, even for half meter or 2 meters, it's not a matter. Before starting the activity, we need to go for gas test based on the permit and based on the
Yes.
requirements. That we can't
Yes,
judge
sir,
the
yes.
situation based on the
Yes,
situation. We can say
and
like,
yes, based on the situation and the environment,
based on the permit requirements,
which is
based on
yes,
the policy
permitted,
requirements.
and also yes, sir, yes.
So
And I
if
would
sir,
like to-
if sir they are working in near the gas plant, they have to.
That's what I
obviously have to
want
do the
to say.
gas, sir.
It is a,
As
if
if
it
you
is
say it's
the
a
area
brownfield,
is with
it's a mandatory.
hazardous, yes, mandatory. Okay, fine, sir. So
Thank you,
coming
thank
to the excavation definitions, fine, sir, fine. The man-made cut, cavity, trench, or depression formed by earth removal, it's an excavation. Trench, a narrow excavation, the depth is greater than the width. That is called as trench. If it goes deep, but the width is the width is less, so it comes under trench. Okay, but not wider than 15 feet. Okay. Shield, a structure able to withstand a cave-in and protect employees, also called box. That is shield. Shoring means the structure supports the sides of an excavation and protects against cave-ins. Shielding, shoring, sloping are the precautionary measures, and they are the control measures to protect the side walls to collapse. Okay, I would like to show the pictures. Just wait for a wait. This is cave-ins, perhaps the most feared trenches hazards. What are the potential fatal hazards exists? Asphyxiation due to lack of oxygen in a confined space. Otherwise, if cave-in phenomena happens, what happens? The person die with suffocation. Inhalation of toxic fumes, drowning. Why drowning came here? Because there may be a flood. Fine. Why flood will come? may know anyone can say if you have a see if a tunnel work is going on beside the lake or beside some sea area, they'll make sure that there are 500 meters distance or five. Okay, not 500. It's like in kilometers. I remember it's like 300. No, 200 to 250 kilometers distance. They'll have a tunneling because they should not get that vibrations or the lake should not flow into the tunnel when they're cutting it. There is some standard requirement that if it is a seaway or if you're if you're doing a hill tunnel, you have certain recommendation. Fine. Coming to the inhalation, toxic fumes, drowning. Altroction can occur when there is underground utilities and the excavation is done without proper clearances. See, what is this? Excavation hazards. Okay, these are the hazards you have to remember. If you remember this, you'll write, like, you can know most of the construction. Say if you remember this and if you can write what are the consequences and control measures, you can mostly write the paper. Surface.
Sir, what is encumbrances? What is it, sir?
See, sir, encumbrances means anything, sir. Anything which you are trying to dig. Okay, if you're trying to remove the soil or if you're trying to remove the pipe, anything which if you're removing the upper layer of the surface by any means, that comes under encumbrances, sir. Just removing the topper layer of the surface. Fine. Utilities. So what is the main hazard? Utilities. Utilities means underground cables or anything. Cables, water pipes, electrical cables. Okay. Gas lines. Okay. Access and egress is also hazard. Vehicles, traffic. Okay. Falling loads, mobile equipment. Loads may fall. Mobile equipment which are passing by the excavation areas. Hazardous atmosphere, water accumulation. Okay. Adjacent structures ఎందుకు పెట్టాడు? ఇఫ్ అంటే పక్కన ఉన్న స్ట్రక్చర్స్ మీరు దగ్గర ఎక్స్కవేషన్ అనేది ఒక కాలమ్స్ దగ్గర తీసారు అనుకోండి, the structure will collapse because it will reduce the strength of the column. Okay. Adjacent structures, loose rock or soil, falls or cave-ins. Cave-in అంటే ఏం లేదు, ఒక మట్టి కంప్లీట్ గా వచ్చి ఒక పర్సన్ మీద పడిపోవడానికి cave-in అంటారు. Okay. This is the surface work. ఇది బేసిక్ స్లైడ్ చూడండి. సర్ఫేస్ వర్క్ అంటే ఏం చేస్తారు? కట్ చేస్తారు, ఫిల్ చేస్తారు, కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తారు. అదే మనకి బిలో గ్రౌండ్ వర్క్ అంటే ఏం చేస్తామండి? ఫస్ట్ కట్ చేస్తాం, కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తాం, కవర్ చేస్తాం. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూడండి, సర్ఫేస్ వర్క్ అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు రోడ్ ఒకటి బాలేదండి. ఓకే, రోడ్ కంప్లీట్ గా పాడైపోయింది. అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాం? వాట్ వన్ డూ? దే విల్ కట్ ద రోడ్, దే విల్ ఫిల్ ద రోడ్ అండ్ దే విల్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్. That is surface work. What is below ground work? They'll cut, and below ground work is our foundation work. So what we'll do, we'll cut, have the foundation, construct, and then cover. Anything we do first cut, fill, and construct comes under surface work. Cut, construct, and cover will be above ground work. Okay, cut, fill, construct, and cut, construct, and cover. అర్థమైంది కదా? సో ఇవి డిఫరెంట్ మైనింగ్ లో ఏంటి, అగ్రికల్చరల్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి అని చెప్పాడు అంతే. ఓకే, దీస్ ఆల్ ఫాల్స్ అండర్ కట్, కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ అండ్ కవర్. ఓకే, చూడండి ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎలక్ట్రికల్ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ డక్ట్ ఉన్నది, ఫైబర్ ఆప్టిక్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనకి ఫైబర్ ఆప్టిక్స్ వేయాలనుకోండి, ఎక్స్కవేషన్ చేస్తారు, లోపల పెడతారు, మళ్ళీ కవర్ చేస్తారు బిలో గ్రౌండ్. ఇప్పుడు ల్యాండ్ స్టేబిలైజేషన్ అనుకోండి, land shaping lo, how you will do land stabilization? By removing the upper layer. Land stabilization eppudu chestaru? When there is a undulation going on. Undulation ante em ledu, oka pressure valla oka surface మీద ప్రెషర్ పడి అది కిందకి గొయ్యిలా ఇలా కిందకి వెళ్ళిపోయిందంటే దాన్ని undulation అంటారు. ఓకే, సో ల్యాండ్ స్టేబిలైజేషన్ ఏం చేస్తారు? కట్ చేస్తారు, లెవెల్ చేస్తారు, ఫిల్ చేస్తారు, కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే, ఫైన్. సో cave-in. So this is a clear example of cave-in. చూసారా cave-in ఏమైందో? ఎవరైతే పర్సన్స్ లోపల ఉన్నారో, ఓకే, ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఫోర్సెస్ వల్ల, ఆ ప్రెషర్ వల్ల ఆ కింద లేయర్ ఆఫ్ మట్టి పడిపోయింది. That is cave-in. So this is the anatomy of cave-in. If any cave-in happens only when the adjacent sides have a pressure. So what are the precautions to be followed? Edges దగ్గర ఏమి ఉండకూడదు, మిషనరీ రన్ అవ్వకూడదు, ఓకే, ప్రెషర్ ఎక్కువ ఉండకూడదు, ఓకే. కానీ ఇక్కడ చిన్న స్లోప్ మెయింటైన్ చేశాడు, స్లోప్ మెయింటైన్ చేసినా సరే కేవిన్ అయింది. దిస్ ఇస్ స్లోపింగ్ అంటారు ఈ టెక్నిక్. దిస్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఏ యాక్చువల్ పిక్చర్. సి వాట్ ఆల్ యూ కెన్ సీ హియర్. మధ్యలో ఒక బాక్స్ ఉంది కదా, దాన్ని షీల్డింగ్ అంటారు, సారీ దాన్ని షోరింగ్ అంటారు. దాన్ని ఏమంటారండి? షోరింగ్ అంటారు. ఫైన్. పక్కన స్లేట్స్ డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంటాయి, ఓకే. షీల్డింగ్ అంటే ట్రెంచ్ బాక్స్ డైరెక్ట్ గా పెట్టేస్తే షీల్డింగ్ అంటారు, ఓకే. సో పక్కన ఈ ప్లేట్స్ వేరేగా ఉంటాయి, మధ్యలో ఏదైతే వుడ్స్ ఉన్నాయో వాటితో అవి అది హైడ్రాలిక్ ఆర్ న్యూమాటిక్ ఫోర్స్ తో ఆ వుడ్స్ ఈ బోర్డ్స్ ని సర్ఫేసెస్ కి తోస్తుంది అనమాట. ద వుడ్ దే విల్ కీప్ ఏ వుడ్స్ ఆన్ ద సర్ఫేసెస్, ఐ మీన్ ఆన్ ద ఎడ్జెస్ on both sides, and by means of mechanical or pneumatic, the boards will be protecting the sand to fall in. Okay, so what are the equipments you are seeing? You are seeing procliner, you are seeing the moving trailers. See, the procliner and the trailer should be away from the edges. That is the main thing to do. See, he has shown the environmental impact, rain, ground settling, okay.
So there is
Cracks
any
in the
standard for, sir, how much
Yes.
distance are there?
Yes, we have the standard.
Between
We have the standard.
equipment and okay.
Yes, we have the standard. It should be like 1 meter or 3 feet away from the edge, okay. The sand
Edge
which you
of
have to
excavation.
keep, yes, okay.
Yes.
So this is the water excavation which is not improper. There is no proper method followed. See, this is also telephone pole adjacent to excavation not supported. This is very dangerous. See, there is a telephone pole which is adjacent to excavation. It may fall, lose its strength. Here what is saying, water is present in extremely hazardous. Why it is extremely hazardous? Because the surface walls may collapse, right? The surface walls may collapse. Adjacent walls may collapse. Here the telephone pole, this is also cave in. See, most accidents occur in the trenches 5 to 15 feet of deep, right? There's usually no warning before a cave in. See, this is the system to resist. See, this is the shoring technique. Okay, so we have discussed about sloping, shoring, and shielding, right? This is the shoring technique. Shoring means the adjacent sheets will be separate, and between the adjacent sheets there will be some means of supporting systems. Here you have steel bars as a supporting system. This is not a steel bar, this is a hydraulic bar. You can see the wire right here. You can see the wire. This is a hydraulics. This is a shoring supported by hydraulics or pneumatic. There will be pneumatic pressure also. This is pneumatics, I think. Hydraulics means we will have a valve which will be adjusted by rotating. Here you have other type of shoring technique. See, this is trench. This is called shielding. Okay, this is called trench box. Advanced. This is called shielding. See, they have made a 45 degrees minimum cut. 45 degrees minimum cut at the above, right? See, if the degree of cut increases, the risk of sand falling or the risk of which the sides have pressure will be decreased. Okay, and in our olden days they used to have a sloping and benching. Sloping means they used to cut a side cut, but sloping and benching involves lot of manpower and also waste of time. That's the reason these all techniques came. This is the trench box or shielding. See, so a well-designed protective system. See, I just want to clarify one thing. I just want to correct it. This is not like olden days, and we have to consider like what is the length of the excavation. If the length of the excavation is like around kilometers, okay, then they do like sloping. For example, culverts, everything you can see sloping, right? you cannot see benching or or trench box. If you are designing a culverts, they'll do sloping. That's the best way to or if you in the reservoir part, the rivers which flow from the reservoir, the water, the all they'll do sloping. Fine. Well designated protective system can design the sloping and benching systems, supporting support systems, shielding systems, other protective systems. Okay, you can they will ask what are the requirements of excavation system. Depending upon the design, you have to plan. Okay, fine. You can do sloping, shielding, appropriate handling of materials and equipment. This is the basic concept slide. After shoring, sloping, and shielding, after other protective systems. What do you mean by other protective systems? Like by placing wood to avoid the vehicles coming near to the edges, by keeping the debris 3 feet away, all comes under protective
Barrication, sir.
system. Barrication,
Barrication.
yes, barrication, signages, yes, speakers, all comes under protective systems.
Sir, this depend on the
Okay.
classification of soil, na, sir. Shielding, shoring.
Yes, classification of soil. Depending upon the classification of soil, also you will have shoring, benching techniques. If the soil is
Only for
loose,
soil.
very loose. Yes, if the
Loose,
soil is very loose,
so-
they will use trench box. Okay,
They will
don't
use, sir,
compromise.
slope.
Like sandy
Sloping,
soil.
sir.
Yes, sandy soil.
Sandy soil, they will use, sir, sloping.
Not sandy. No. Sandy soil, they will not. If the soil is very loose, they'll use trench box. If it is like sandy soil, they'll use trench box. Depending on if you want to make a slope, you have to have some consistent soil.